Welcome to Kung Fu Africa number 2. This is like the 12th attempt at this video. So first and foremost, let me give you a little bit of history about me. My name is James Williams Jr. I am part Cherokee, part black, and I am part white. And this is for sure my 12th attempt at making this video. So let me tell you about why I'm making this video. First things first. I like the show Supernatural. This has nothing to do with that, but it does have to do with Supernatural. Currently watching the Travel Channel. I don't know what show was actually on there. Let's check that out. Paranormal Caught on Camera. Alright, so here's the thing. I believe in God, and I am an actor. I'm not reenacting any stories in this video, but I am going to tell you some true stories in this video. I don't want to make this a 3-part video. It very well may become a 3-part video. There very well may be some outside interference, as being that this is the 12th attempt at this video. Now, I deleted quite a few videos. I left a couple of them, and you can check them out in the blooper reels, which will probably be posted before this video. Anyway, so I have some real life scary things that happen to me. They might not be that scary depending on who you are. And if you haven't lived it, then it's really not that scary to you at all. So I'm going to talk about at least two events. Well, 2 reoccurring events, rather. So the first thing I'm going to tell you about is this thing that I like to call the Wraith. The only reason why I call it a Wraith because there are many different dictionary definitions of the Wraith. Yeah, I didn't even know I had a Wikipedia on this thing. So we're going to go to that. And I'm going to type in the Wraith. I don't know who that is. Alright. A-R-I-T-H. The Wraith. Okay. This is not what I'm looking for. Let's see if it gives it to me this time. I'm not looking for characters. Oh, for God's sake. This is why I hate technology, too. Oh, this site can't be reached. Wikidictionary.org. Yeah, see. I swear. I hate technology, yo. Now let's see what happens. Come on, damn it. Okay, let's just go with Wraith. You know, this is why I don't like technology. I really don't. It wouldn't give me what I need. So let's find the Google thing. What is a Wraith? What is a Wraith? It says listening. That is not the Wraith that I'm looking for. I'm not looking for the Rolls Royce. I'm looking for the spirit. Oh, for God's sake. There's a Wraith rap. More results. Maybe if I would have said waif, it might have actually got what I said. So now I'm Googling it. Alright, Wraith. A ghost or ghost-like image of someone, especially one seen shortly before or after their death. Used as a reference of a pale, thin, and insubstantial person or thing. A wisp or faint trace of something. What is the Wraith? Creature. Wraith from the shamans view Wraith as a creature This is usually not always created by feeding off of negative emotions such as fear, anger, and jealousy, among others, but remains in this world even after emotions have subsided. Alright, what does Wraith mean? Extract likeness of living. An exact likeness of a living person seen usually before death. An apparition. B. A ghost, a specter. A substantial form of subbalance or semblance. Shadow. A blurred or barely visible gaseous vapor column. Alright, so those are the definitions. Now let's talk about my Wraith story. Alright, because one of the definitions that are not here, did the Wraith warns you when you are in danger? How do you kill a Wraith? Let's go there. User info, KBlaze13. Keep it down at all times when dealing with the forces that would be your material plane. I have no idea what that means. When you circle and create full damage of the silver sword. Some word I can't pronounce, YRDEN. Put it between you and your Wraith at the moment it enters and get a few swings back off and repeat. Okay. How do you spell Wraith? WRAITH. What does Google mean? Okay, it starts going into the car now. Alright. Now, from Wraith Monster Wiki Fandom, I'm not going to delete this. You're just going to have to deal with my niece. And I'm going to go deal with her after I get off of this video. A Wraith is an undead creature whose name originated from Scottish folklore. A type of ghost, spirit. Wraiths are traditionally said to be the embodiment of souls who either are on either the verge of death or who has recently passed away. The modern term concept of the Wraith is more likely to refer to an evil spirit, practically one which finishes with unfinished business in the mortal world or the mortal realm. They are typically depicted as skeletal figures, draped over rags, etc., like the Grim Reaper, and the association with graveyards or other haunting locales. Modern perception of Wraiths is that the eternity which activates seeks to harm that it encounters, no matter their motivation. Alright, so I'm going to say this thing is a Wraith because I think it was more or less trying to warn me, and each time that I saw it, I got hurt or fracked up really, really badly. So the first time I saw it, me and my bro, L-Dog, I haven't spoken to him in years. We were at my dad's house in Smithfield, and spending the night. And so while he's spending the night, we had read these scary books about Dracula and vampires and werewolves. So it gets better, don't worry. Before we did that, for some odd reason, his grandmother had garlic, and we garlicked my dad's house. My dad wasn't too thrilled about it, but we garlicked the shit out of the house. We cut the garlic in half, and we both rubbed the walls with the garlic juice all over the house. So there were no vampires coming in there, regardless of anything else. We didn't have holy water, but garlic is supposed to be so strong that it deters vampires. So I'm in my bed. He went to the bathroom. You know, we're like 13, 14, playing G.I. Joe, so we had no intention on going to sleep that night. And we were really playing G.I. Joe. We came with a game called Regular People. Hello, L-Dog. Anyway, so L-Dog went to the bathroom. And L-Dog's first name is Lloyd. His last name is R, so we're just going to call him L-Dog. Anyway, L-Dog went to the bathroom. I'm laying in my bedroom. TV's at the door. And this head popped around the corner. Didn't have a face, just popped around the corner. And I screamed. And it went down to the bathroom where he was, which means it phased through the door. He screamed. It came back to me. I screamed. It went back to him. He screamed. It came back to me. I screamed. It went back to him. He screamed. It came back to me. I screamed. About the time that I screamed, the last scream that I was going to scream, my father had enough. He bust out his room and came down the hall, as men do, and he asked me straight to my face, "Son, what the hell is your malfunction?" And I said, "You didn't see it in the hallway at all?" He said, "What the hell are you talking about?" I said, "This floating head. There was a floating head. It was in the room. It was in the hallway." And he looked at the Dracula book and said, "Y'all been reading these books too much. Stop reading these damn books, or you're going to be reading my belt." So we didn't read the book anymore. The damn thing just kept coming back. So the next day, L-Dog had to go back to his grandma's house. Miss Ruffin, I salute you. And his little sister, D-Dog, her first name's Donna. She was there. And I went over to see if L-Dog could play, but he couldn't play unless his little sister could play. And me and him, both being boys, really didn't want his tag-along sister there, but the only way I could play with my best friend was I had to play with his sister. So we got to play in G.I. Joe. And there was Falcon, and there was Flint. I wanted to be Falcon. He chose Falcon. So I had to be Flint. We both were Green Berets. And Donna, D-Dog, was the Baroness. And we really got into our role. This is how I know I was made for acting, because I overacted, I guess. And she did the pine cone, which our overactive imagination, grenade. So I said grenade. I shoved L-Dog out the way, and then I slipped. And I slid backwards and fell off this mini cliff and hit my arm on the pier, and my body embedded into the shore. And at the pier there was water. It was low tide, so there was no water where I landed. So I didn't land in water. I landed straight in mud, and I hit my head on a rock. My arm landed in some water. My Timex watch kept ticking, so they really could take a licking and keep on ticking. It was the only thing that came out without a scratch. So I crawled up. I'm covered in head to toe with mud, but only on the front side. And like this side of my face was completely clean, and this side of my face with the big red knot on it was covered in mud. The whole front of my body covered in mud. So I went down backwards and bust a backflip and landed on my face. As L-Dog and them pointed out to me that it was cool as shit. It was cool because it wasn't them. They didn't even come down the hill to see if I was okay. Shame on y'all. But they obviously knew that I was tough as nails, because I got back up. It took a couple of minutes, but I got back up and I crawled up the hill, and I was like, "What the hell happened?" And it's like, "You slipped." I said, "I slipped." "Yeah, you slipped and you fell all the way off this cliff, buddy. How you feel?" I said, "I'm a little dinged up, but I think I'm okay." Now let me tell you how my body felt. If you ever felt your foot fall asleep, imagine that feeling going all the way through your body. Like all the way through, from your tip of your fingers to the tip of your toes, because that's how my body felt, from my head to my toes. It felt like my whole body just felt like it was asleep. And so I told him I'll be back in an hour. I don't think I came back. I don't remember going back, but I know when I got to my dad's house, my dad's like, "What the hell happened?" And I told him, "Remember that floating head thing? I think it was a spiritual warning, because I fell off the goddamn cliff." So that was the very first time I saw it. A few years later, I'm working at Kegler's. Lots of bad things happened to me at Kegler's, especially being called chief. But this was like probably far worse, the worst thing, because I got cut. I was working there, and I kept seeing it, like out the back of my eye, and I was like, I keep seeing this thing, but I don't know what it is. And it's freaking me out. I'm not scared, but I'm freaking out because I hadn't seen it except for that one time in Smithfield. This thing would come back to haunt me a couple more times, by the way. So I'm at work and I keep looking. And somebody bought some glasses. They didn't stack them right. The glasses fell. And back then, if the dishes broke on your job, you kind of had to pay for them. So when the dish went to fall, I went to catch it, and it broke in my hand. And it almost cut off my thumb. So you can't see it here, but there's a scar right there. I had to get 62 stitches on the inside to replace my tendon and I had to get 64 stitches on the outside. And then they stuck one more loop through here, and I had to get therapy. And I'm going to tell you something about therapy. Every time I've had therapy, I go from pretty nurse to not so pretty nurse to not so pretty nurse. And this has been a thing even when I had my hip replacement. I went from beautiful woman to less beautiful woman, but still just as beautiful. And then I went to grandma, who was a beautiful woman, and you could tell when she was younger she was a looker. But that was that. I don't guess I'm not handsome enough to keep sexy therapists, or I'm overly handsome and the sexy therapists are afraid that I'm going to make moves on them. I think about it, but when I see a wedding ring, I pretty much leave a woman the fuck alone. So anyway, we're not going to go there because I didn't see the Wraith when I fucked up in the army. But, so, go get my thumb stitched up. Gotta get therapy. Workers' comp. Got this scoop thing to protect my hand while I'm at school and I can't come back to work for like a couple of months. So I had to get workers' comp and therapy. And then everybody at the job was like, why didn't you just let the glass faucet? Because I didn't want to fucking pay for it. That's why. It's like, well, no one would have known. I said, oh, I would have known. And I got a problem with telling lies. So, a few years later, working at Murray Steaks. And this was the last 2 times that this thing, I ever saw it. Haven't seen it since. So I'm working at Murray Steaks. And the first time I see it, I almost cut off my middle finger. So I go to prompt care or whatever, and I get 15 inside and 13 or 14 on the outside. So when I fuck myself up, I go all out. So, got back to work. I got to go back to work but within like maybe less than 2 weeks. So, I'm at work, and I see it again. And I'm not thinking about this thing, because I'm thinking every time I see this thing, it's trying to help me. It took me 2 cut thumbs and falling off a cliff to realize this thing wasn't trying to hurt me, which is why I'm going to call it a Wraith, but I don't think it was a malevolent Wraith. So, I'm at work, and I see it. I see it out of the corner of my eye before I went into the walk-in. And every time I seen it prior to that, after getting hurt, I keep trying to communicate with it, and I can't. It doesn't talk back because it doesn't have a face. It has my facial structure. Like, it looks like if you could take away my eyes and my mouth and my nose, it would look like me. It just would not have my eyes, my nose, and my mouth. It'd just be like a whole blank face. And no head, well, no body, just a head. So, I don't know what the hell to call it. That's why I call it a Wraith, because some Wraiths do warn you. So, I saw it, and I couldn't communicate with it, and I didn't see it anymore. So, I went into the walk-in, and we have these boxes of fish. There's like 52 fish in the box, in the bags. All I had to do was count the boxes. I didn't have to open the box and check the bags to see if the fish had been opened or whatever. We didn't have to do any of that because we sold them in bags. So you have a box and you have a fucking sealed frozen bag. So we had like maybe 6 boxes like per stack. And remember, I said I saw that thing before I went in there. Had my little clipboard, had my pen, and I'm counting boxes. Like, do. And I got to the top of the second stack. And I didn't have to get up and climb anything because they only stack you so high. I'm only 5'3.5", so I'm not very tall, but I can still reach the stack. Now, we're not allowed to touch the boxes, and you can count them with your pen, if you know what you're doing. You can, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you can go down the other side. And then we stack them all evenly. So it's like between 6 and 7 stacks of them motherfuckers that I can remember. Might have been more, might have been less. I really don't remember exactly the number of boxes. But I know they were full of fish. Alright? So, when I got through with the stack on my right, I started counting the stack on my left. And I had this feeling. It wasn't a spider sense. I wish it was, because that would have naturally pulled me out the way. But I had this feeling that I need to turn around, and I need to turn around right now. You ever heard the phrase of too little, too late? There you go. When I turned around, it was way too little, way too late. In the box, boom! And then all the boxes, you see what I'm wearing right now? That's kind of what I had when I went in the walk-in. Because my dumb ass didn't think to take my jacket in there. Or did I take my jacket in there? It really doesn't matter because it was a walk-in. And I was buried by all those stacks of boxes. I lay on that cold floor for 30 minutes. Nobody found me for 30 fucking minutes. And the worst part, this was in the summertime. So it really wasn't, that's probably why, if I had my jacket or if I didn't have my jacket, it was definitely in the summertime. And it was at Murray Steaks, right on West Main Street. And I'm in there, screaming at the top of my lungs. No one can hear me. I can hear me, but no one else can hear me. My pencil went one way, my clipboard went another way, there was a big bruise on my face, and I'm covered in boxes with one foot sticking out the boxes. Like the whole pile, one foot was sticking out. I'm just like completely, totally buried in all these damn boxes. Totally buried. And I'm like, great. Of all places to die, I'm going to die in a freezer on my job in the motherfucking cold. This is just fantastic. I'm thinking to myself, I can't move. You know, I got all these boxes. I mean, them boxes of fish was heavy as hell. I'm not a weightlifter. I'm struggling. The more I struggled, it seemed like the pile just kept piling on. Like a football player, you know, that late guy that gets that last dive in on you. And I'm sitting there and I'm trying to struggle and I can't. And the only thing that's sticking out is my foot. I'm trying to bang my foot on the damn thing. Can't really lift my foot because the boxes are covering me from head to toe. So, the best I can tell you is like, this is my body. And that's all the fish. Every box. Fish. Everywhere. And the boxes that were on the top knocked the boxes on the bottom open. So bags of fish also came out. They didn't open up the bags, but the bags came out the box. So finally, my manager, Sharon, asked somebody had to see me. And they said, last time we seen James, he went to walk in to go count the boxes of fish. Hi, Sharon. Oh, God. Finally, somebody came in, and they saw my foot. The walk-in had 2 doors. The fish was at the back of the walk-in. All the steaks and the other frozen goods, like the French toast sticks and all that shit, was up in the front. But you can't keep your meat, your beef and chicken, with the fish. Don't ask me why. That's just how they had it in that walk-in. I don't know if that's like a store thing or if it's a national store thing. But for freaking Murray Steaks, our steaks was up the front. Henceforth, the name of the place is Murray Steaks. We had more steaks than you could shake a stick at. Porterhouse, big beef, big cut, little cut, thin cut. Those little, it's some word that starts with the S, and then it's that, and then the word slices, and then there was some other kind of slices. There's all kinds of freaking steak. I'm in the back with fish. And I mean, there's a frack ton of fish all over me, except for my one foot. It's sticking out. Whoever came in, first let me thank you, because I don't remember who you were. I don't know if it was Sharon. I don't know if it was Sally. I don't know if it was my boy Reg's brother. And I don't know if it was the big guy who used to pick on me all the time, who I was about to beat up. But he was only like maybe 18 years old. He was like a barely high school graduate. Here I am, 20-something years old, and I'm about to beat this kid up because he wouldn't leave me alone. But he was also bigger than me in my defense. Who's not bigger than me? Anyway, all I heard was, oh God, James, are you alright? And I'm like, I'm under a frack ton of fish. How do you think I am? I'm very cold, by the way, because I'm in a walk-in, and it's cold in here, and I'm on the floor. Do you understand that I'm on the floor? And it's like, you're exceptionally calm. I said, that's because the first 20 minutes I spent hollering and screaming. They said, and what have you been doing since then? I've been contemplating on how I'm going to die. Because if I suffocate under this bitch, y'all still would have never found me until y'all decided to come into the walk-in. So thank you for coming in here, by the way. So they got me out, and I went outside to thaw out. And after that, 2 more rules were inserted into Murray Steaks. James Williams 1, can't fuck with box cutters because he almost cut off his middle finger. James Williams 2, can't go into the walk-in by himself because he's small and boxes tend to fall on top of him. So then after that, sadly, Mary Six was one of the best jobs I had because when you got paid every Friday, you got paid. And you didn't get paid a check, you got paid in cash. So they took our taxes out, and we would get a tax return, and then we take it to the IRS and file the taxes. But they took our taxes out before they paid us. And we got paid every Friday, no exceptions. We got paid every Friday. If you worked, you got paid. If you didn't work, if you worked one day, you got paid. If you didn't work, you didn't get paid. That's like the only exception. But if you worked, and I worked 5 days a week. And if they wanted me to come in on Saturday, you bet you believe my ass was there because I like getting paid. And your pay period starts Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You get your check on Friday, and you start your pay period again. Your pay period technically starts on Friday because some Saturdays you didn't work. Some Saturdays we did work, but some Saturdays they just closed the shop because nobody was buying shit. And when they shut us down, Murray Steaks still exists, I believe, but they sell their stuff in store now. They don't have stores of their own, and if they do have stores of their own, they don't have one in Charlottesville. Alright? So, I seen this thing at least 4 or 5 times in my life, and each time I've seen it, it has tried to warn me. It has not tried to hurt me. So, I call it a wraith because I don't know what else to call it. So that solves that. So now I'm going to go to the second story. And this story has been happening to me since I was 7 years old. And I've told this story a frack ton of times before. This story is about the Witch Rider. So, when I was 7 years old, my uncle, sorry for the background noise. And then, sorry for background noise. Okay. So, okay. I'm sorry about that. Anyhow, my uncle was attacked by this thing called the Witch Rider. My little 7-year-old ass couldn't comprehend it. That shit wasn't funny. And so, I went and got to laughing at him. No. I was forever laughing at him. And I mean, I didn't care. I was 7. I was forever laughing at him. So, you know, this hadn't been the first time that this has happened to people in our family. And before anybody goes, it's because you're Native American and you're spiritually connected to the earth. Been there, done that. Don't know how much of that is true. Okay? So, I'm laughing at my uncle. And, you know, I'm not thinking for a New York minute that this damn thing could come after me. Because, you know, I'm a child. It's not... Damn it! I know you see them goddamn lights!